Whether you put down your phone to be there for your daughter, or pick up your phone to call a helpline for your roommate, when it comes to mental health, now more than ever, every action counts.
Ontario is reporting 2,093 cases of COVID-19 and 56 deaths on Thursday. There are 700 new cases in Toronto, 331 in Peel, 228 in the York region, and 123 in Niagara. The daily case count is over 2,000 for the first time in 3 days after the number decreased the last 4 days in a row. The jump in new cases comes with an uptick in completed tests. There were nearly 64,700 completed tests compared to 55,200 the day before. The province reported less than 40,000 tests the 2 previous days. Locally, the Algoma Public Health is reporting 5 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 today, 1 from the Sault Ste. Marie area and 4 from Central and East Algoma. Cases 151 through 155 are all reported to be self-isolating. The Ontario government is extending electricity rate relief for families, small businesses and farms to support those spending more time at home in response to the provincial stay-at-home order. The government will continue to hold electricity prices to the off-peak rate of 8.5 cents per kilowatt hour until February the 9th. This lower rate is available 24 hours per day, 7 days a week. For time of use and tiered customers, families, small businesses, and charitable organizations with overdue electricity and natural gas bills can apply for support through the COVID-19 Energy Assistance Program. A residential customer can receive up to $750 to help cover their overdue electricity bill and natural gas bills, while some businesses and charities can receive up to $1,500 for each bill. Customers can contact their utility to apply. Businesses can apply for energy and property tax rebates through the COVID-19 business support grants, and if required to shut down or significantly restrict services due to provincial health measures. Applications are open for the new Ontario Small Business Support Grant, which helps small businesses that are required to close or significantly restrict services under the province-wide shutdown effective December 26, 2020. Today, Stephen Lecce, Minister of Education, issued a statement to provide an update on schools resuming in-person learning, as the government agrees with the growing consensus in the medical community that returning students to in-person learning is essential to their well-being, development, and mental health of children. According to leading medical and scientific experts, including Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health, the province's schools are safe places for learning. Elementary and secondary schools in 4 additional public health units will be permitted to return to in-person learning as of February the 1st, 2021. This will bring the total number of students able to learn in person to 520,000 across the province. The 4 additional PHUs are Eastern Ontario Health Unit, Middlesex London Health Unit, Southwestern Public Health, and Ottawa Public Health. In the fall, the Ministry of Education introduced one of the most comprehensive back-to-school plans in the country with strict health and safety measures. As more students and staff return to in-person learning, the province is building on the plan by introducing stronger masking protocols to include grades 1 through 3, expanding access to targeted asymptomatic testing, and implementing stricter screening protocols. Ontario is moving to bar colleges and universities from asking students who report sexual violence or harassment about their sexual history. The province is also proposing to prohibit post-secondary institutions from punishing complaints for drinking or using drugs at the time of the alleged incident. The proposed changes announced yesterday would require schools to update their policies on sexual violence and harassment. The government says the amendments would make Ontario one of the only Canadian jurisdictions with such protections explicitly enshrined in legislation or regulation. Public consultations on the matter are being held online until mid-March, and the province says that the changes aim to increase campus safety and reduce the fear and stigma for those who come forward with allegations. Ontario residents may need to hold off searching for their winter gear. Ontario is enduring mild weather, and it is leaving residents to wonder if their heavy coats, hats, gloves, and other gear are essential this season. Winter has been off to a slow start, and according to the Weather Network, a milder winter is expected for the 2020-21 season, especially in the southern part of the province. Dr. David Phillips is a senior climatologist at Environment Canada, and he stated that in the Sault Ste. Marie area this time in January, the city should be expecting 30-day temperatures at -10. However, there have only been 11 days that have reached -10 this year so far. According to Living in Canada, one of the warmest cities in the nation is Windsor, Ontario, whose climate is modified by its location in the Great Lakes region. Even when Windsor is considered warm, it still endures harsh winters. Dr. Phillips said that the reason for the milder winter could be attributed to the change in airflow.
Good evening, everyone. Well, we saw a little bit of sun today before the clouds rolled in. We have some flurries and another cold night tonight. And we have a better look at what your weekend is looking like. I'll have all those details coming up.
Whether you put down your phone to be there for your daughter, or pick up your phone to call a helpline for your roommate, when it comes to mental health, now more than ever, every action counts.
Good evening, everyone. Let's take a look at the boards right away. We have a lot to tell you. Tonight, temperatures around -17 for your evening. Add in a little bit of winds, it's going to feel a little cooler. Flurries, if we see flurries, we could accumulate up to 2 centimeters according to Environment Canada. I don't think we will, but they should come to an end later tonight. Let's take a look at the overnight lows. Cold everywhere. Thunder Bay -25, -15s, -20s around the North Shore. So let's take a look now at the satellite and or the radar, and we'll show you where those flurry potential for tonight. Just from lake effect, you can see them kind of coming into our system or into our city, but most of the lake effect is stateside. You can see some substantial lake effect snows down there. So we're looking pretty good as far as our overnight goes. Let's take a look at the satellite. We'll show you. We have high pressure, really nothing to worry about other than those lake effect flurry threats that are there always during the winter. But we are watching this system coming in for lower Michigan into southern Ontario. This is our system up for Friday. We have high pressure here clearing us out, but that's going to help that system move into the lower Great Lakes, and we'll advance till Saturday, and we'll show you this is the system. It's a slow mover too, and it will move into, and we'll advance now till Sunday, and we'll show you where it's going to go. Boom, right there. So we have a lot of snow. It's not going to make it up to our neck of the woods. We may see some flurry activity from it. We may see some cloud, but the substantial part of the storm is staying stateside as it rolls into the lower Great Lakes. The big system we're watching is for next Friday, and it's going to take a route from here all the way down, get up some moisture from the Gulf, and then race up. And you can see a lot of rain associated with the system and a lot of snow. And now, as systems travel across the country, they change their characteristics. So right now we're calling for snow. We, again, could see rain, depending what this system falls into. If we have a warm air mass in place, it's going to be rain. If there's cold, we're going to see snow. But for the next 3 days, this is what it looks like. Not all that bad for tomorrow. Good shot of some sun and some cloud. Temperatures just slightly below seasonal at -7. Still cold during the overnight, but for Saturday, we still a little cooler than we should be at -11, but a mix of sun and cloud. We start picking up a southerly flow on Sunday in advance of that low pressure system and the high pressure system pumping up that warm air. And for all next week, basically what we've seen this week is going to happen next week with a mix of sun and cloud. Temperatures moderate, and of course, come next Thursday, next Friday, we'll be watching that storm very closely, because depending, again, when it moves in, will depend what type of precipitation we see. That's your weather right now. Jacob Moore is standing by with sports right after this.
Whether you've spent 15 years better understanding the causes of schizophrenia, or you spend 15 seconds texting a friend who feels overwhelmed with work. When it comes to mental health, now more than ever, every action counts.
Welcome back to your evening newscast. I'm Jacob with sports. Last night, the Senators played off against the Vancouver Canucks. They play again tonight. Last night's game was a weird one because Ottawa dominated the first period, outshooting Vancouver 23-1, but only able to get one goal past Demko. Demko, he's looking back to bubble Demko. He was making some saves that were just blowing my mind. And unfortunately for Ottawa, they basically lost that entire game in the second period. They weren't able to create offensive chances. They weren't able to stop Vancouver's top line for getting going, which is something Vancouver's been struggling with this season. Vancouver outshot Ottawa 20-7 and pocketed 3 goals versus when the Senators dominated the first period, they only pocketed 1 goal. After that, the third period was pretty even. Vancouver popping in another goal to make it a 5-1 finish. But I think tonight, Ottawa's going to fix up their mistakes they made in that first period. And the second period, and they're going to win this one, but it's going to be close. The Leafs, I'm a Leafs fan here. They're facing the Oilers tonight. This game, I think, is going to be really, really close. Although Edmonton's been struggling this season, they look like they're starting to pick back up. McDavid, Draisaitl, Yamamoto, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, they're looking good. It's the bottom 6 for Edmonton that's concerning me just a little bit. For the Leafs, they're on fire this year. Top in the NHL, top in their division. But I hate saying it, Oilers are going to beat Toronto tonight, but it's going to be a very close, low-scoring game. But for that to happen, Edmonton needs to make sure they're keeping it simple, playing smart hockey, winning puck battles, controlling the puck possession, and making sure Freddie Anderson is very, very busy. On the other hand, for the Leafs, their defense can't be allowing rush chances. They can't let Edmonton get their transition game going. They need to play a full 60 minutes, and they need to play smart, hard hockey. But enough of hockey, let's head over to the NBA and talk about the Raptors. The Raptors played the Milwaukee Bucks last night. It was a close game, 115-108 for the Bucks. However, the Raptors did some things I really like to see. OG Anunoby was unable to play due to injury, and Norman Powell stepped right into his role and put up 26 points as a starter, which that's a fantastic starting role, kind of back like what he was doing in the bubble during the playoffs. Kyle Lowry hit his 10,000th career point as the Raptor. He hit that milestone. Awesome to see, but let's hope the Raptors can turn that around Friday against the Kings. But now we need to talk about a more serious topic. Mental health in sports is something that's huge, and this is Bell Let's Talk Day and Mental Health Week. Rick Griffin was unfortunately lost due to his mental health battle back in 2011, and this is when Vancouver decided to start Hockey Let's Talk, a way for players to really be able to talk about their mental health and help people who are struggling and want to break that stigma. I had the pleasure today to speak with Lisa Caricato, who is the health educator and family support worker for the Canadian Mental Health Association in Sault Ste. Marie. She also works with multiple sports teams, including the Greyhounds and the Thunderbirds. Let's check out that interview. So I just wanted to dive in today to talk about today being Bell Let's Talk Day and Mental Health Week. I want to dive into how has it been doing wellness checks with athletes and such during the COVID-19?
So, like you said, I work with lots of different athletes in town, and mainly it has been different in terms of the way I provide support. It used to be in person, and now we're having to do phone calls and Zoom meetings, which isn't ideal, but it's what we have. Basically, we're just trying to remind them that there are supports available, and if they do need to talk or get some help or support, that we're here. So still sending reminders out, still having some team Zoom meetings just to check in with them and find out how everybody's doing.
And how are you finding doing things over Zoom or phone calls versus in person? Is that a challenge for people right now?
Well, I think it depends on how you like to communicate. For some people, they really enjoy it. They don't have to leave their house. And for some people, they're used to the technology and so they enjoy it. For myself and a lot of service providers, our preference certainly is to be in person with someone to chat with them. But for safety concerns, it's just not something that we can do right now. But I'm hoping that in the near future that will start to change as things start to open up.
We're out of time for today. I want to thank you so much for coming in and doing this interview. You know, especially at a time like this where people's mental health may not be as strong as it was before during COVID-19, and especially during Bell Let's Talk Week, to just remind people we need to talk to each other and still feel like we're a part of a community.
Absolutely. You said it very well.
Well, thank you very much, Lisa, and we'll be right back right after this.